Here's the disclaimer. This is for educational purposes only. This is not financial advice. Cryptocurrencies are risky. Do your due diligence and invest at your own risk. You can lose money.
What's up, everybody? My name is J Tragic Jeffrey. Welcome to Crypto Plunder, where there will be no champagne tipping, crypto pumping. I can only give you the real in the crypto world. Today is September 13th, 2017. And let's get down to it. Red all over. I think it'll be easier to show you how bad the market is today by just how many are actually up for the day. I think that's a better assessment. Right? So this is all the green we have. This is all the red we have. We have some big red losers today. And that, as you already know, we're double digits. And as you already know, I always tell y'all, red days mean sale days. And I also warned you 2 episodes ago. I didn't say anything yesterday. You know, we were up on a green day, but I did mention that just because we see some green, I like consistency. I'm not going to sit there and think the market has changed because we had 1 green day. If you have 4 red days, 1 green day, then another red day, you can see that you're in a red pattern, right? So I said we're in a little bit of a bear market, and we're still in a bit of a bear market. I'll get into a potential cause, which just to me just seems stupid to even deal with, but we will get into that. Let's look at Bitcoin. We're on the day chart. As you know, I like looking at that because that's the consensus of the day. That's how the market felt for the day. So as we always say, as I've been talking about, we potentially were, I said this might have been a little pop for a shoulder, but it should have came down. Now it's looking like this is the down. Can we go back up to this line to then make a tanking? I don't know. Or is it just going to keep running? We will see. Typically, you don't see it that way. When there's a major drop, there's typically some form of a pattern that'll show for it, but we'll let it play out and see where it goes. Again, I'm not worried as to whether or not we will continue on an upward trend in the future. I understand that we're going to be in a bit of a dippage because people will be taking profits, like I said before. People are going to, holidays are coming up. It's Christmas coming. So they're going to take some profits. That's just the way it happens. So we'll see what goes on with that. I will be looking, I told you before, I am looking into this zone to be where I would love to buy. Now, it could be right here, but I would love it to be down here, and I'm going to go crazy. So we're going to wait and see. Let's deal with the news. You can see some green news there, bear, red news. They want to see it down to 3,000. So people are already looking for it to go to a certain kick. The chat company has launched their ICO. Let's see. Don't care about Wall Street, how they feel about it. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. This is kind of interesting for GPU miners for Ethereum. That's kind of interesting. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. So you can see there's really no major news that will pull the market back up. We've seen all this stuff already. So we had green news, but there's no real major green news to talk about. There's some interesting plays coming up, but there's nothing really major to talk about as far as the market is concerned. Leading us to Senor Dimon from JP Morgan. Now, this wonderful pompous bastard decides to call Bitcoin a fraud. Really? We're the fraud. You know, he attributes this to what they have, some country that had that were speculating on the price of tulips, and Dutch traders were speculating on the price of tulips. All right, what would that matter for tulips? Tulips, what do they do? When we're going to go back to it, and we're going to go back to, if you are a value trader, you're going to look for valuable information that will make you align your trades to the market based off of value, not based off of your emotion. I'm not emotional about the market. I've given up being emotional about it. Red, yay, okay, sales. People are freaking, great, I'm buying. Be greedy when people are fearful. Be fearful when people are greedy. Right? So, since people are fearful, I'm turning on my greed lights. All right? So, he wants to say that this is what I will agree with is that this does look like the dot-com bubble. If you go back and do your research and look at the internet companies that were coming up in between 1995 to 1999, look at all those companies. Look at what they were actually trying to put out. Like one of them was pets.com, where they were going to ship pets in a box and deliver them to you. That doesn't even right now seem like a smart idea. But this was the business. Oh, it's because it's linked to the internet. That's what we're going to do, and that's the internet business. You're going to have a lot of dumb companies come out and saying that they have something that's going to be transformative, and it's the same old, same old. Like somebody wanted me to research this other coin, and he didn't like what I had to say about it, which was, okay, this coin is used for tips. It has over 1 billion circulating coins. The price is never going to be really high, and if you're going to use something for tips, well, you can get tips in Bitcoin. You can get tips in Ethereum, and those are at least something that will have value. So even if you got a tip, that value is going to go up. So if you got a tip of $20 from somebody or $10 from somebody, and the value of it goes up over time because the company's worth is to the industry is more valuable, well, then that $20 could be $100. So it's the tip that kept on giving, instead of it's just a tip thing. Dumb coins abound everywhere in 90% of the industry. Okay. His criticisms in calling it a fraud because it was stupid, and he's even willing to fire his own people if they're caught trading it. Now, what we need to get down to it is, you want to call us a fraud, but you got a $12 billion bailout for purchasing derivatives that were mathematical calculations based off of properties that they grouped together in a subprime market, and y'all bought the bullshit. You bought these subsidized properties, and they fell out when people could not pay to maintain the mortgage with it. But we're frauds. See, this is why you've got to understand and take with a grain of salt what these idiots, as I love to call them, are saying. They are not saying anything of freaking value whatsoever. Now, while he's so quick to call us a fraud, Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency a fraud, let us not forget that this is the guy whose company, as of 2013, has had his Bitcoin alternative patent rejected in 2013 over 175 times. Guys, I always tell you, a person's going to sit there and throw shit or throw your company or your ideas out the window only because they're jealous of what you're doing. They want everybody to run. They want to come up with their own thing and have everybody come to their thing because they're afraid of what this transition means for them. We don't need you, donkey. We don't need you. No, sorry, donkey. We don't need ya. So don't worry about them. Fraud. You have the nerve to call us a fraud. You still gave yourselves bonuses after you pillaged $12 billion with a B. But we're the fraud. I don't even know how a CEO loses that much money and is still allowed to be a CEO. But we're the fraud. Here's my shocked face. This is not the Breakfast Club, but I would love to give you a certified jackass. Jamie Dimon. I would love to give you certified jackass because you, sir, are a donkey. Moving on, let's talk about better things. And that is the Gunbot. Promised y'all I would give you some settings. I had to take a screenshot of my trading system. I'm using Gunbot 3.3 because there is a new one, and I refuse to use any new software because there's going to be bugs abound. So I always stay with the software that I trust. What you do is you have your currency pairs, right? I'm on Bittrex. Your Bitcoin is going to be traded for, right now, as you can see, I'm running two different coins right now, NXS, Nexus, which I put into my value trading room back in September 2nd. When it was $1.89. It's now up. I said that this was a good company. I like the team. I like investing in transparent companies that have a technology that will actually be functional or is functional, right? And are going to do more than be a wallet or give you proof of stake. It's just anybody and everybody can do proof of stake. At the end, there has to be a reason as to why you should be around for 5 years. You know, if you're supposed to, as an individual, have a 5-year goal, then don't you think the companies that you're investing in should at least have one? Or is it just a bunch of tech heads that are just trying to just do something fancy? I don't like fancy. I like practical. So you're trading your you're trading your Bitcoin for an excess. So this is what you'll always be trading out of your BTC, or you can have ETH to another company or whatever. But this is where the robot's going to be using your Bitcoin to buy whatever coin. So this is where you'll mostly change. I've covered this stuff up because don't need y'all to see that. Told y'all be more secure these days because your stuff is getting gat. You better hide your wallets. I use Bollinger Band. I'll explain a little bit about Bollinger Band in a second. And step gain to sell off. I want a 2% gain. Buy level of 0.01 off the exponential moving average. Bollinger Band, I go low because I want it to be closer to the bottom of the band, so I can minimize. I used to have this at 25, which is the default, but during this bear market, I am now testing whether or not 20, I'm going to test 15 to see whether or not, I know I'm going to get less buys, but I would rather trigger better buys at better bottoms so that I could have better sells off of with the bot. So I'd rather get less buys and more sells than to hold more bags that I have to then manually trade. Because please remember, these are bots. They're bots. You basically lay in some numbers. That's it. The bot doesn't have any artificial intelligence. The bot's not smart. The bot's not going to stop making a trade. It's going to just look at the math, look at the numbers, and buy. It's not going to look at the market as a whole and say, hey, we're in a bear market, let's stop. Which is something I'm hoping that the team and I will be working on in the near future. Step gain. This is what I use here to sell. I want a 2% set gain, a 5%, or a 35% set gain. I learned this from somebody, can't remember who, but thank you, because I want to keep it within the Fibonacci sequence on the 35. Max balance. Yes, I'm a big baller at $4 a trade. Sorry, because I've been holding so many bags, I don't want to hold larger bags. I don't have a lot of capital that I'm, as you can see by my BTC balance, I don't have a lot of capital. So I can't go 0.01 and then say, oh, I'm going to have a 2 times strategy when I don't have, you know, another 0.01 to go in with, right? Doesn't make any sense. So if I have a low balance, I want to move the numbers up, you're going to have to start small. And this is a trading strategy to start small and grow your account automated in an automatic fashion while you're looking for other trades. Like the robot is one avenue of trading while I'm looking for value trades that I'm holding for 6 months to a year, which will give me more revenue to put into coins, put into the bot to be able to do more trading and having it making more earnings. All right, so that's the thought process of my strategy of where I'm going with. I just turned this on, so of course there's no profit. Security margin, I'm going to be raising my security margins up because I don't want this ever to sell my coins. I don't ever want it selling, so I'm actually going to raise the security margin to 70%, so that it never sells. The calculations 500 because I want it to calculate as much as it can before it makes those Bullish Band trades. 30, get the latest 30 prices for the bot. These are defaults with a 15-minute candlesticks, and I'll show you what that means. Well, yeah, I'll show you what that means. 15-minute candlesticks just means that when you're up here, when you're looking at your charts, 15 minutes. All right? So this is your 15-minute candlestick. A time delay of 15 seconds because I really want the prices to come in on a more rapid basis. If you have a lot of tickers that you're watching, you might have to raise this up because you might hit the API cap and you might have to run multiple bots with multiple API keys. So, because you only have a limited amount that you're allowed to do. So I keep it fast and only trade a few tickers at one time. So let's now talk about Bollinger Bands, right? What does this mean? If you go to Coinigy, and I'm already set this to the 15-minute ticker so that you can see this is kind of what the system is, a visual idea of what the system is doing. If you then go over here where it says indicators, click on that, and then just click on Bollinger Bands. What I do now is in Bollinger Bands, just to make this a little easier to see, I make my median yellow. I make the upper part red because that's where I want to sell, and I make the lower part green. I'll just pick a nice one right here. Let's pick something a little brighter. Okay, that's good. All right, so here is where I want to sell, and here is where I want to buy. Now, when you're looking at your Gunbot settings, when it says right here, what percentage of the low Bollinger Band, it's 20% or 40% above or below. This is basically saying I want 40% on my, if I'm buying, because I set it for buys, it's saying for here I want 20% here and the 40% here. So 40% above or below, so either here or here I want to be able to sell, and 20% here or here I want to be able to buy. A good way to see that is right here. I got this from Gunthy's website. This is the guy, the creator of Gunbot, and this was one of the ones that some people said in the forum was the best representation of seeing what it meant for the Bollinger Bands. And this set, let's say if you set the low at 5% and the high at 5%, it would mean basically here 5% and 5% of where the bot will be buying or trading from. Right? So now you can get a little bit of a gist of what the bot is trying to handle. So let's say if it hit here, okay, it's going to sell anywhere in this zone within 20 with the settings that we currently have. Let's say with the low Bollinger Band here, 20% in anywhere upper, high or low of 20% of this line, it's going to buy. So it wouldn't do any buying. You see, it wouldn't do any buying here.
because it's on a tear. If you had any purchases from, say, here, it would have bought right here, and then it may have sold here. It may have bought again, maybe here, and then it might have sold here, or even here. It would not be buying in this zone because it's not 20%. See, if you do 40%, you're getting closer to maybe doing a buy here before a tear up. Or maybe you bought here and you got a larger run. But then it's going to sell right when then it would have sold right here. And maybe would have bought right here. You see, that's what the robot's currently doing. It's not a smart bot. It's just saying, let me take these averages and buy. And I'm not buying. I really need to start using the Bollinger Band for the top to do my trades. I wasn't getting the sells off that I wanted. So this is how I run the bot. Currently only in 2 tickers. I wanted to see whether or not I could trade Tether, but I see I couldn't. I was having issues with it, so I'm going to see whether or not I'm doing something wrong. I'm hoping that this is a little bit beneficial for y'all, that you begin to get the grasp of how this bot runs. Like I said, there's other companies out there that do this on their own, but then you have to worry about whether or not your money's going to be here or not. So if you think about it, like Control Finance, there was plenty of guys pumping Control Finance. Where are they now? They were pumping this thing up, and Control Finance supposedly disappeared. It's supposed to be back on the 15th or something like that. But you just don't. You shut down your Twitter page. There's a lot of things going on with that, and this is why I say, handle your trades yourself. Handle everything yourself so that you don't have to worry about that. All right? So I'm going to shut it down. We're not going to worry about the jackass and what he has to say. The markets were due to do what they're doing right now, so don't sweat it. Like I already told you, this was going to happen. Told y'all mad episodes ago, this was about to happen. We were going to be in a dippage and start looking for your sales. Start researching your companies. Start looking to see where you can find valued plays. Then you're at a fire price right now. The team is there. The development team is working on their stuff. They're going to keep upgrading their stuff. They don't even care. A good team doesn't even care what the market's doing right now. They're working on their software and they're hitting their milestones on their roadmaps. Right? So if you follow that and you're buying because you're buying into good teams that are developing, then it should not matter what they do. All right? Subscribe if you like the channel, you like the information I'm giving you. I want to offer you value. Not only is it looking for value plays for your own trading lifestyle, but it's looking for valuable people who are in this crypto space that are not pumping and dumping dumb ass coins, that are looking for valuable plays, that are trying to help you, just like I'm trying to help myself be more financially free. All right? My name is J Tragic Jeffrey, and I thank you for taking the time to watch this all the way through. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, be a part of the notification squad that lets me know that I can keep on grinding, keep trying to bring value to you, and keep trying to give you the real in this crypto world. Y'all have a great day, and don't worry about this red. Peace.